I had to go get me some water before I start. People, what's going on? It's your boy Bobby from MentorMe.com. Man, what a day, what a day. Let me let everybody load up before I really start talking. Let me let everybody load up. Lucci Bags in the building. Cuzzo is in the building. This brother here is hanging around celebrities. Akon, Jim Jones. Shouts out to Capo. People, we're going to be talking about a great topic this morning, actually this afternoon. You know, a lot of people bought homes in the last 2 years, and they already are complaining. Some of them, they're upside down. And some of them don't know that they're upside down. This is why I had to shoot that TikTok video. Now I'm going to go a little bit more in depth. Why was it a terrible time to buy a home in the last 2 years? We're going to talk about that. And we're going to really break it down because some people like to take emotion when they're talking or listening about a particular subject. They'll go into, oh, he think or she. It's not a he or the. Facts is facts, and that's what we're going to talk about, okay? Let me let a lot of people load up before I really start talking about what's going on. I also, before I really want to start talking, I want to take time to condolences to the family. If I'm saying her name, Shaquela Robinson. This is the first time I've ever witnessed something like this. This is where I usually don't discuss people's lost loved ones like this, but this one is something different. Imagine this young lady goes to Mexico with a group of so-called friends, and these so-called friends get into a fight, and you can see one of them is very angry with her, and it seems a bit more personal than anything. She doesn't even fight back. Then to find out if this was your child, within 24 hours, your child has passed away. Nobody can tell you why. And she went with a group of so-called friends. People, you got to be careful who you hang with. I thought I'd share that. And it's so important to understand that a lot of people don't like you in life. Separate yourself from people who don't, who say negative things, who are here to hurt you. I think sometimes that's important in life to discuss before we talk about today's topic. But we'll go into, I want to talk a little bit more about Shaquela Robinson. Later on tonight, I'm going to go live and talk about that. People, let's talk about it. Real estate. The last 2 years, home prices have been the highest they've ever been. You're hearing realtors telling you it's the best time to buy. Was it? A lot of people bought homes overpriced. A lot of people bought homes because why? They were affordable. When I say affordable, the mortgage payment was affordable. Overpriced, meaning the market was overpriced. You bought a home that was, let's say, for $500,000. You bought it for $700,000. A lot of you bought homes that were over-marketed. And a lot of you don't understand the point of buying a home. For the last 2 years, if you bought a home in the last 24 months, the only person that won is the lender and the seller. Because a lot of you didn't understand what happened. You bought an overpriced home, but you got a good rate. You got a good mortgage. But one thing you don't have, which is the main reason why people that are intelligent investors or intelligent buyers buy, is equity. Mike, what's going on, baby? Mike, the advisors in the building, just slid to the house. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, so you got to understand, people, why was this not a smart play? The goal of buying a home is to buy a home that's underpriced. Hypothetically, the home is worth, the highest it's ever been worth is $500,000. How can you tell? You can simply go to Zillow.com. It gives you the history of purchase prices. It also gives you a rough, as they call it, zestimate. You can also go to Realtor.com. You can also call a realtor. They'll tell you what's the highest this home ever sold for. For a lot of you that like to say, I didn't know. People, you're learning now. One thing you don't do, if your goal is to create wealth, is buy when interest rates are low. Listen to me again. Millions of Americans are already complaining their home prices have dropped because they bought it at the highest price. Some of you bought homes so overpriced, the home has never, ever appraised at that price before. And you don't understand how much of a negative situation that you're in. Meaning, you will never have equity in this home. And if you're going to be buying a home right, especially something that you're going to be invested in for 30 years, you need to make sure it makes sense. There should be equity. People don't buy homes without having equity. What is equity? Hypothetically, you bought a home for $400,000. 3-4 years later, the home is now worth, I don't know, $700,000. That $300,000, you could actually go to the bank and say, look, I want to either cash out, I want to cash that money out, and I want you to give me a new mortgage payment based on me cashing that $300,000 out, or 80% of it at least. Or you can say, look, I want you to put 80% of that $300,000 on a credit line that I could use anytime I need. A lot of you don't have that ability because when you bought the home, you bought it based on a realtor who is not an investor telling you that you should buy a home because the interest rates are low. Now, a lot of you right now have a home that have no equity. The only thing positive you could say is that you got a low monthly payment. Now, I like TC Tavares just put a comment. I like this. I bought my home at $350,000. Now my home is listed on Zillow at $510,000 at 2.25. There is a rare few. Shout out to Tavares on that too. Some people did their homework. Before they bought, they made sure, hold on. Let me buy at a point where it makes sense. But some of you bought homes like there was a home down my block. The highest the home ever sold for was $750,000. The guy bought it for $920,000 cash. $920,000 cash in an environment, in a street that no home has ever sold past maybe $750,000, maybe $800,000. Right now, his home has already dropped $110,000 already. You got to understand the only thing he can say he valued was the only thing that's benefiting him in his case is he bought it cash. So he has no mortgage. So he has no interest. Which again, his case he won because why? It's cash. So he can always leverage because it's cash. But for a lot of you, you didn't buy cash. You financed at 3%, 3.5%, 4%. And a lot of you don't understand economics. So while I'm teaching this to you, some of you are going to get in your feelings because economics is not your best trait. This is not about your feelings. This is just about reality. The reality is, as interest rates go up, money becomes more expensive. As money becomes more expensive, sellers naturally will drop their home prices because the same mortgage you were getting at $500,000, you're now getting at $300,000. A lot of people get uncomfortable and realize they can't afford a $500,000 home, so now they're going for $300,000. And let me say it in a different way for some of you. As interest rates go up, the same $600,000 home you could have got for, let's say, $1,500, I'm making up a number, you're now going to pay for that same $600,000 home $2,700. So sellers realize, damn, I'm not getting the offers that I would like. So what they do is they drop their prices. So the reality is, when is the best time to buy a home? You buy a home when interest rates go up as we fall into the recession end of next year. When this market crash and interest rates go up so aggressively that sellers have to drop their price aggressively, this is going to give you an opportunity to buy that same $700,000 home that this person just bought last year for $300,000 or for $400,000. The only difference is you're not going to buy it at the 3% interest rate they bought it at. You're going to probably buy it at the 5% interest rate because interest rates eventually going to readjust. A lot of you need to understand and go back to 2008 recession and pay attention to how did this happen and pay attention to why is it about to happen again. A lot of you don't understand when you're buying a home, you don't just listen to realtors telling you, oh, this home really matches you. I'm a realtor and I'm telling you this. You buy a home that makes financial sense. A lot of realtors are running around telling people all type of bad fucking information. And this is why a lot of people make bad decisions when it comes to buying homes. I'm a realtor telling you in an aspect of a realtor. I learned that in life. You can't just listen to realtors because not all of them are like me. They're not investors. 98% is just realtors. Some of them, which is crazy, let me say, a lot of them don't even own a home. A lot of them don't even have an investment property. So how can they give you investment advice? How can they give you a strategic way to have a long-term investment if they don't even understand what investment is? Shout out to all my realtors. I got a lot of realtor friends. But there is a lot of realtors who don't stand for nothing. Don't have a house telling you you should buy a house. That you're contradicting yourself. Don't have an investment property telling you that you should invest into an investment property. It doesn't make sense. And a lot of people bought homes in the last 2 years. If you bought it right, this video has nothing to do with you. Shouts out to Tavares, Peanut in the building. But if you bought it overpriced, over market, you're hurt right now. Because think about it. You have a mortgage for the next 30 years. Yes, a low mortgage payment. But you have a mortgage for the next 30 years in an investment that has no equity, no leverage. Meaning, when the market starts to pull back into next year, going in 2024, triplexes are dropping in price from 600 to 300 to 200. Home prices are dropping. Guess what? You can't do nothing. Some of you say, well, I'm going to refinance. You're going to refinance. So let me get this right. You're at the lowest interest rate of 3%. How low can you possibly go? The lowest it's ever been is where you're at. You're not refinancing. How are you going to refinance and you have the lowest interest rate? For some of you that bought in the last 2 years. A lot of you don't understand how this game works. You bought homes based on emotion. And let's not even talk about the ones who bought homes because it was a new development. These developers was running around just developing shit anywhere at any high price. And some of you just love the word new development. Oh my God, my house is new. Not only did you buy at the highest price, you bought new development at the lowest interest rate, and you can't refinance. You can't leverage your home. You have no equity. Do you understand? You're in a 30-year investment, and you defeat the purpose of what people buy homes for. Not just to live in, not just to be in a good area, but to also create wealth. A lot of you don't understand. This is why wealthy people keep winning. Because it's like you're going to these realtors who don't have any investment property, any investment knowledge, letting them screw you, and these lenders screw you to a wall for 30 years. Just because you wanted a low payment. Now, for some of you, that's all you wanted. I wanted a low payment. Okay, cool. But if some of you understand that you're trying to buy a home for wealth, for generational wealth, a low payment is not the only thing that matters. What matters is you buying it at the right price, in the right neighborhood. Because as it grows in value, hypothetically, you bought a home for $400,000. 5 years later, it's worth $700,000. You want to be able to take that $300,000 or 80% of that $300,000 and go invest into something else so you can have two properties, preferably a triplex or a quadplex, like I spoke about in my videos a couple days ago, teaching you guys how to learn how to get cash flow. Because a lot of you right now, just from the simple 20% drop on equity of certain homes, you're already under. I see somebody put a comment. Let me read this comment. Yes, I purchased my home under the valued rate. Purchased my home with $5,000 equity. I'm still mad at the 3% interest rate. Whoever C. Reed is, again, it's okay. She bought her house from what she states with only $5,000 worth of equity. Most likely the equity is gone. So now she's stuck in long-term debt. with no equity. And as home prices keep dropping, like next year, you're going to see home prices keep dropping as interest rates keep going up. Money becomes more expensive. Home prices are going to keep dropping because these sellers can't sell their house. On my block, I have a person that have a house right now for like $680,000. It's been sitting on the market for 60 days. Can't sell. 4-bedroom, 2-bath. Can't sell. He's trying to sell it at market. It's not even selling because the interest rates are hurting people. One thing I've learned about life is that you have to understand economics. I think a lot of people should take a course in economics, even a basic introductory course to kind of open you up to what is an interest rate? How does it affect the dollar? How does it affect the buying power, the lending power? Understanding the federal chairman, the Federal Reserve System, understanding their balance sheet. What is quantitative easing? What is quantitative tightening? You guys need to understand what these terms are because that's why some of you make bad decisions. And then for some of us, we get wealthier and wealthier. Because right now, I'm not buying nothing unless either the financial numbers make sense or the market crash. The moment the market crash, you guys already know what I'm up to, without a shadow of a doubt. And I keep saying this because a lot of you, tax season is coming up in the next, 40 days, right? Yep. 40 days, y'all about to put so many goddamn losses on your tax return just to get a nice, fat, heavy tax check. Not realizing all these losses when the market crashed in the next year, going into 2024. Imagine while people are buying properties at steals, you can't buy anything because your income is not high enough. So before you put 90% of these losses you're about to put on your tax return, just to get a one-time tax return check, think about the long-term effect of that. Some of you need to understand. The reason you're working 2-3 jobs right now because you don't have a sense of direction when it comes to financial literacy. And that's what I'm giving you. The reason that some of you have been getting tax return checks for the last 14 years, 12 years of your life, and you're still broke is because you don't understand money management. That's what I'm here to teach you. The reason that you're buying homes because he say, she say, and not really understanding why, that's what I'm here to teach you. Sometimes in life I learn as grown adults, you got to let your emotions go for you to really listen to when a person's giving you game. Because a lot of you, the first thing you do, and I used to do it too, when I was immature, the first thing I do when somebody giving me free game, I go into emotion. I go and add my pride. I go and add my ego and act like I know it all. Until I started realizing some of the things that people talk about actually do make sense if I would just take time to listen to them. Some of you are very ignorant, sad to say, when it comes to financial literacy. Some of you don't like to listen when it comes to learning in life, learning about things that make sense. For a lot of you that really want to win, that's been struggling for years, that continuously say they don't have no savings, the best time to buy a property, I'm going to say it again, is when interest rates are high. Like right now, let interest rates keep going up. Because when we go into that recession in the next year, rolling into 2024-25, you're going to be buying up properties. Home prices are going to be dropping so proper. You're going to be winning. While the next person complaining, they ain't got no money. Their income ain't good because they've been putting all them losses on their tax return. You're going to have grown adults still complaining that, oh, my credit score ain't good. I've been needing to fix that. All these years, Bobby been talking. All these years, Mr. Mentor and me been talking about fix your credit. Clean up your tax return. Make sure you have enough income. Because the first thing these lenders are going to want to do, they want to see your credit score. They want to see, of course, how much money you got saved up. They want to see your income, which is your 2 years tax returns. In the last 2 months bank statements. And I already spoke about not having a chime account. Because some of y'all, I don't know, between the goddamn rush card and a chime account, I think y'all elevated. Chime account, I never heard a billionaire in my life say he got a chime account. People, stop getting educated by your nephew that live in the hood. Stop getting educated by a broke motherfucker. Stop getting educated by a person that don't have shit. This is why we get nowhere in life. For real, Mike is so crazy. Mike just said a statement and it's so true. A lot of you guys are allergic to the banking system. The banking system is what makes a lot of people wealthier and wealthy. But for some of y'all, chime accounts, I got a Cash App account. What the fuck is that? I don't hear no intelligent person telling me, look, do me a favor, send the payment to Cash App for me. Never in my life have I heard that. It's usually certain types of people that even use Cash App. Because you know what people that have sense use, that understand the game? PayPal, Zelle, Venmo. If you want to take those areas. And then you have the other types of people, not to be rude. Yeah, just Cash App me, Cash App me, Cash App me. There's nothing wrong with doing a little Cash App transaction. But Cash App ain't going to help you buy no goddamn house. You can't use 2 months Cash App bank statements. There's no such thing. The lender ain't going to say, look, send me your last 6 months of Cash App statements to see if we can get you approved for a home. What they will say, send me your last 3 months Bank of America statements so we can see what can we do for you. I remember Russell Simmons, this guy made a lot of money off of us. Then he sells the company to Green Dot, $147 million. After it goes upside down, many lawsuits. I hate how this world works. Use us, give us bad information. Then they just disappear. And then they become pro-activists. All of a sudden now they for the black community, blah, blah, blah. Or were you still for the black community when you were giving us them goddamn rush cards with late fees and the black community was not fucking buying homes?
Welcome to capitalism.
Welcome to capitalism, as they say. It's very true. But at the end of the day, Mike, there's no excuse, Mike, when you think about it, because YouTube exists. YouTube give great information if you listen to the right people.
Yep.
But this world will rather learn about what's going on with Blueface. We'll rather go investigate that shit before we even focus on our own personal life. And this is why we're failing. People, if you want to win, change your mindset. Everything is your mindset. The reason you're not growing is your mindset. The reason you can't understand what I'm talking about in this video is your mindset. The reason no matter what president we have, you're struggling is your mindset. The reason you still think hanging around with broke friends that don't do shit in life is cool is your mindset. The reason that you still think $50,000 is a lot of money is your mindset. The reason that a lot of you still think traveling to Orlando is a true vacation is your mindset. Some people don't know what the hell of getting a visa is. Why are you talking a Visa, MasterCard? No. When you go to third world countries, certain countries that's far, you need a visa. When I went to China, I needed a visa for China. Some people don't understand what I'm talking about. Bobby, I don't get it. Okay, see, this is why. I don't get it. I don't get why you need a visa. I got my MasterCard in my pocket. See, we're not talking about that visa. This is why we're not where we need to be. A lot of us in this world today, we're still impressed by people on social media driving expensive cars. We don't know what these people own. A lot of these people renting high-end areas, renting. I have a couple students who tell me they live in Brickell. They live in Bell Harbor, renting $4,000 a month. Why? Just for status, but own nothing. I guess they do own something. OnlyFans, some hair extension, some fucking expensive shirts. Shit that don't put no money in your pocket. And we wonder why we fucking struggling as a culture. And then the first thing, I'm blaming the white man. I'm blaming the white man. The reason I'm struggling is because, as a black culture, we was oppressed. And nigga, you 35. You ain't going through no motherfucking slavery. The reason you're struggling because you don't like to fucking listen. That's the reason you're struggling. It's very straightforward. The reason you're struggling, you don't like to own shit. You like to spend on shit. That's the reason you're struggling.
You don't like paying people back.
The reason you're struggling, you don't like to pay people back. You have an owing problem. And we're not talking about Terrell Owens. You like to owe people and not pay them back. This is why you're struggling. The culture, we got to do better. The Hispanic culture, the black culture, I'm scrolling down IG, I ain't never seen so many so-called motherfucking millionaires in my life. Everybody goddamn capping, as they say in the streets. Everybody capping. Everybody on Toro renting cars looking like celebrities scamming. People, eventually it goes away. Eventually it goes away. Right now, motherfucking PPP gone, huh? Stimulus gone, huh? What y'all gonna do now? The real ones will survive. The real ones will survive. People, I do these videos, yeah, I might have some fun and crack some jokes. It might be uncomfortable for many. For a lot of you get uncomfortable when people talk about the truth about life. You get very uncomfortable because you don't like to hear the truth. You would like for me to be on a video with 9 chains, Cuban link preferably, telling you that all you got to do is just be really you, believe in yourself, and you're gonna make it. You don't just make it by saying those 3 things. I don't know what fairy tale world social media got that from. If you want to win in life, look, believe in yourself, know that you can do it, and have the right mindset, and you'll be all right. No. You got to put some action behind understanding what it takes to win. I've learned to get away from a lot of people. Because a lot of people don't know shit, but got all the opinions in the world. And the people that don't know the most got the most to say. For some reason, they're the first ones to speak. Motherfucker don't own nothing. The first person to speak would be that motherfucker right there. People, when you look at your friends, pay attention. This is your homework for tonight, okay? Write this down. Write down all your friends that have been there for you while you've been living. Through thick or thin. That's one. That's homework number 1. Number 2, write down how many of your friends own a house. Then I want you to take that next line that you're about to write it down. How many of your friends own 2 properties? How many of your friends own 3 properties? That list should have already been decreased by at least 98% on when you say 2 properties. That's the problem right there. But now let's change the topic. How many of your friends have high-ass car payments? That list should be at fucking elevation. How many of your friends have name brand clothes and that's all they know? Got the best Jordans, got the best Balenciagas, got the best Gucci shirts. Write their names down. That list should be going. You shouldn't even have enough paper to write that down. People, get up, get your priorities straight, man. Get your priorities straight. Stop hanging with them lames, man. When I say lames to me is a person who don't own shit, who don't want shit, who don't understand shit. That's a lame to me. A person that's not growing every day in life, that's not trying to elevate, that's not trying to figure out what's next. I'm going to take some questions. I see people got some questions for me. If you got some questions about real estate, if you got some questions about this video I talked about, it's okay to be against it. I would love to hear your opinion. I'm not a person that takes anything personal. Let me hear what you got to say. And make sure you can back it up with some facts, and we'll go from there. I got a question. Do you think now would be the time to sell a duplex or hold it and refinance to get capital to renovate the lower level to create a 3rd unit, to make it a triplex? You know what's funny? It all depends on what you. C. Wilson 7 is who's asking this question. This is a great question. She asked, it's 3 different parts to it. Do you think it would be the best time to sell a duplex or a triplex? It depends, because here's the problem. If you have a triplex or a duplex, if a lot of us are in it for long-term passive income, meaning you want to collect rent for years to come. So it would not make sense to sell it. Because again, any property I'm buying, unless it's a property that the numbers make more sense, flipping it, I'm keeping. This goal in life is all about passive income, having people pay you rent till the day you die, then passing that on through estate, through wills and trusts They're passing these properties on to your kids so they could collect rent for life. So I would not sell a triplex or a duplex. What I would do is probably leverage what we call a home equity line of credit, because you only get charged for what you use. I do want to say this. Equity lines based on the interest rates is very expensive right now. Interest rates are roughly 9% on a home equity line. That is aggressive. So that's 9%, let's say at 100,000, that's 9,000 divided by 12, plus they're going to charge the end fees, the first end fees. So it's a little aggressive, but if you have somewhere to put that money, example, you put out $100,000 from your duplex. They're hitting you 9%, okay? 9% divided by, of course, that's $9,000 divided by 12. Whatever that number is, plus there are going to be some other fees. Let's say that's $600 a month. Do you have a type of investment that can actually make you more than $600, if that's what the payment is, per month, to offset that? Plus, you need a certain amount to pay down that home equity line leverage you just used also. Because people don't understand, when you're using a home equity line of credit, not only are you using it, you also need to have a plan of how do I pay it back down. Because remember, all the payments are interest-only payments. Because she asked a good question, should she pull money out and renovate or expand to create it and make it a triplex? It's all about the numbers. Because I would need to see, well, if you renovated, what would that third room give you per month? That's one. Would I be able, if I renovated the other 2 units of the duplex, would I be able to increase rent by maybe $200 a month? These answers would make a difference to how would I answer your question. Because everything is about numbers. She asked a very, very good question. Because I can't say she's wrong for wanting to refinance to renovate her unit and expand it from a duplex to a triplex, but the numbers have to make sense. What are you going to get if you create that 2-2 next room, or that 2-1? Because we know that's what gives you the most money, or that 3-2. Can you create a 3-2, which could probably give you $2,800 a month just for that 3-2? Oh, this is going to make a lot of sense to pull the money out. Because you know 3-2s right now, you could get about $2,700, $2,500, $2,600 based on the city. Even 2-2s, you can get about $2,000, $2,200. So I need to kind of hear the numbers, but that's a great question. Brit period Brat 228 says, if you got any questions, I'm gonna take some questions before I get off. She says, so when will be a great time to buy, being a first-time home buyer? Understand, this is a great question again. The people that bought 2 years ago as first-time home buyers, if you did not care about wealth and equity, it was a good time to buy. Because you got a very low mortgage payment for the next 30 years of your life. But if you're trying to buy in a smarter direction where you're going to have equity and your mortgage still makes sense, I would rather you buy when the market crashes. Make sure you pick a good neighborhood. And always do your homework. If you guys want to book me, you can always book a session. I charge $350 to $450 an hour. We can always do a webinar. You can even give me a list of properties, and I'll be able to guide you and give you advice. Because I have access to the MLS if it's Florida. But if it's another state, I do not have access to it. But if you would like to talk to me, we could always do a webinar like a lot of people do. And I'll be glad to even go more in depth if you have more specifics when it's that time. But Britt Bratt asked a great question. For a first-time home buyer, when's the best time? Wait for the market to crash. Wait for the market to crash. Let these prices keep dropping. Let these prices keep dropping, because the main thing you want is equity. If the home is $500 right now, wait for it to drop to $400 maybe, or $350. Then you buy. Make sure you buy in a good neighborhood too. Let me see. Somebody said, I wouldn't refinance. Oh, no, of course. Well, Maurice says he wouldn't refinance. I guess you're talking about her question. Yeah, I wouldn't refinance unless the numbers make sense. But if the numbers make sense, yeah, you could have refinanced. Because, again, if she's going to build take a duplex from what she says and turn it into a triplex, meaning she's adding one more room, if her plumbing is correct and the city is able to let her do a 3-2 or a 2-2, because 3-2s we know we could get maybe $2,800. Them numbers could make sense if she refinance. But it all depends on what can she get out of that third room. That's the question. If they say you can only build a 1-on-1, oh, hell no. No. But if I know I can get a 3-2 in that third room, and I'm about to hit 3,200, 3,000, or 2,800 for that third room in that triplex, oh, let's do it. I'm pulling the money out. I'm refinancing for sure. Juju underscore love live life. Juju, what's popping? She's always on my lives, and just like many of you, all love. Juju said, to piggyback on the previous question, when would be the best time to take out that home equity loan? Right. Believe it or not, first question is, what is your plan if you took it out? That's question one. I always tell people, before you think about taking out a home equity line out of your house, what is your plan? What are you trying to do with it? Are you trying to expand the property? Are you trying to renovate a property? Are you trying to purchase a property for passive income? That's question one. Now you ask, when is the right time? Believe it or not, any time could be the right time. It just depends on what are you going to do with the money. And I need to see, the numbers make a difference. I'm pulling out a home equity line on one of my properties right now. I'm pulling out $150,000 at 9%. But I have a plan. I have a plan with what I'm about to do with the money. And the 9% is very aggressive. And the home, I bought it straight. That investment property, I bought it outright. So I don't even have a mortgage on it. But I'm pulling a home equity line on that property because I already have a plan of what I'm going to do with it. Preferably, like I told you guys, I told you I'm going to get a building. I thought I was playing. I'm not playing. I'm getting a building, man. I'm getting a building. I need 10, 12 people paying me rent every month. Then I needed to go to 30, 20 people paying me rent every month. Maurice Pitter says, he got another question. I'm moving down to Broward this fall. What's poppin'? You finally back. He coming back to Broward. If you right now, for some of you that's tuning in, I'm resetting a little bit. I was talking today about why was it not the best idea to buy homes 2 years ago? Why should you buy when the market crashed? I explained myself, and right now I'm answering questions in regards to real estate. If you have a question, if you're a first-time home buyer, if you're not a first-time home buyer, you got a question about real estate, I'm taking some questions. Maurice says he's moving back down to Broward this fall. Should I rent for a year or two? I don't want to buy right away, but timing the market is tough, trying not to break or lease. Okay, it's tough. This is a good question. First of all, when you say you're coming back to Broward this fall, we don't know when the deceleration of pricing of the market is going to really start to go fully aggressive. They keep saying 6 to 9 months from now. So we're going to assume July, August, September next year, we should start to see things getting a little bit reckless, where prices are dropping aggressively. Now, I really believe 2024, based on what I'm seeing and what they're saying, should be that year. 2024 should be the year where first-time home buyers, like himself and like many others on this live, it should be a great time for you to buy. Because the same person that bought that expensive home for $700,000, you're going to be their next door neighbor and you bought the same home for $400,000. You see who won? And you have just holding the property 5 to 7 years later, your home back to being worth $700,000-800,000. While this person, their home dropped $300,000. They stuck. They can't do nothing except get mad at you because you made a smarter play than they did. One thing I want to tell you guys about the real estate market, there's always a deal somewhere. You got to find it. There's always a deal somewhere, no matter what market. I want y'all to understand that. The tougher the market, the harder it is to find the deal, though. But there's always a deal somewhere if you could be patient and you're working with the right realtor. It makes a difference. And I always tell people, too, just for my first-time home buyer, I'm giving y'all some straight game right now. Another rule I recommend if you're buying, buy a house 3-2 with a garage and a den. Listen to me again. Always buy a house 3-2 with a garage, and if it can have a den, that'll be wonderful. You know why? Because if life ever get rough, guess what? You could rent your garage out, put a door, just like a lot of people do. Rent the garage out for $700-800. You could always rent the den out. Remember, the den always has its own door. You could rent the den out alone for $1,200, $1,000 right now. So you could have your home being paid off by two people who live in the home who never come inside your home. That's why I always recommend, if you're a first-time home buyer, never buy a regular home. The layout has to make sense. Buy a home that's a 3-2 with a den and a garage. If it can have a 2-car garage, you could afford it, do that. Because you could always rent out your garage and rent out the den. That alone, you're going to make $1,500, $1,600 every month passively, while you're still living in your house. And guess what? The person has their garage door, they're going to leave out of the garage, and the person in the den going to leave out their own door. These two people never come inside your house. People, this is what I do. Be smart. See, realtors ain't going to tell you what I'm telling you. Realtors ain't going to tell you this because they're not investors. MentorMe.com. This is boy Bobby from Mentor Me. I got to get going. My dog Mike in the building. We're going to chop it up, crack some jokes. Probably drink a little Hennessy. Just playing, it's playing. I'm lying, but I might drink some Hennessy for sure. But y'all enjoy y'all night. Appreciate all the love. MentorMe.com. I love all y'all. Appreciate the likes. Appreciate all the DMs. Everybody that support the lives. I hope y'all learned a lot from this knowledge. If you got any more questions, DM me on IG. You could also go to Mentor Me and book me for a session and invest into yourself. We got Mike, the advisor, in the building. He is in the building. That's my dog. Merrill Lynch is in the motherfucking building. People, let's go.